3:51 a.m. Persian Gulf, 9 nautical miles north of Abu Musa Island. The USS Gravely fired her Mark 45 gun 3 times in 11 seconds. 3 Iranian attack boats were gone before the smoke cleared. The crew of the Gravely had not slept in 31 hours. They had been waiting for exactly this. Welcome to Global Warfare TV. Tonight we are reconstructing the fastest naval surface engagement the U.S. Navy has executed in the Persian Gulf in over 3 decades. A 3-target destruction sequence that lasted under 40 seconds from first round fired to last vessel destroyed, conducted by a single RHIB-class destroyer against a coordinated Iranian fast attack formation operating inside Abu Musa's contested waters. We are going through the weapon systems, the engagement geometry, why the Iranian boats made the tactical error that cost them everything, and what the aftermath revealed about a significant shift in IRGCN operational doctrine that U.S. naval planners had been anticipating for months. This is the full breakdown. First, the platform and the context. The USS Gravely, hull designation DDG-107, is an RHIB-class flight to a guided missile destroyer. Displacement, 9,200 tons full load. She carries the AN/SPY 1D radar, 96 VLS cells, 2 Phalanx CIWS systems, and the Mark 45 Mod 4 5-inch naval gun mounted on the bow. That gun fires a 32-kilogram projectile at a muzzle velocity of 808 meters per second. Maximum rate of fire, 20 rounds per minute. Effective surface range against small craft, 8 to 13 nautical miles, depending on target profile. She carries a crew of 281. The Gravely had been operating in the northern Persian Gulf for 31 consecutive hours prior to the engagement. She had been assigned as the on-scene maritime security asset for a stretch of international shipping lane that runs close to Abu Musa Island, an island whose sovereignty is disputed between Iran and the United Arab Emirates, administered by Iran since 1971 and used by the IRGCN as a staging point for fast boat operations against commercial shipping. In the 6 weeks before this engagement, 3 commercial vessels had been interdicted, 2 boarded, 1 fired upon, in the waters within 15 nautical miles of Abu Musa. The Gravely was there to deter further incidents. She had been operating without incident for 29 of those 31 hours. At 2:18 a.m., the Gravely's radar picked up a formation of surface contacts departing from Abu Musa Island's northern harbor. The contacts were small, consistent with IRGCN Peykaap class fast attack craft. There were 5 of them. They formed up in a loose line-abreast formation and moved southeast at approximately 22 knots. The watch officer classified them as IRGCN routine patrol and opened a track file. The Gravely's CO was notified. He authorized increased sensor priority on the contacts, but did not alter the ship's course or speed. The formation was heading away from commercial shipping. There was no immediate threat indicator. At 2:44 a.m., the 5 contacts stopped. They were approximately 6.5 nautical miles northeast of the Gravely's position. They held position for 41 minutes. Engines running, not moving. This was logged as unusual. IRGCN patrol boats do not typically hold a static position in the open water for 41 minutes at night. The watch officer escalated the report at 2:51 a.m. The CO came to the bridge at 2:57 a.m. At 3:25 a.m., a 6th contact appeared from Abu Musa's harbor. This one was larger, radar cross-section consistent with an Hendijan-class patrol vessel, a 300-ton IRGCN combatant armed with a 40mm cannon and anti-ship missiles. The Hendijan joined the 5 Peykaps. All 6 contacts then began moving, not toward the Gravely, toward the shipping lane. The CO made his assessment. 6 IRGCN vessels, 5 attack craft and 1 armed patrol ship were moving to intercept the shipping lane. There was a Liberian-flagged chemical tanker, the MV Celsius Stavanger, transiting the lane at that moment, approximately 4 nautical miles ahead of the Iranian formation's projected intercept point. The tanker had 24 crew and was carrying 28,000 metric tons of ethylene dichloride, a chemical cargo. An IRGCN boarding or attack on that vessel was not just a maritime incident. It was a potential environmental catastrophe and an act of piracy against a civilian crew. The CO called general quarters at 3:29 a.m. He ordered the Gravely to increase speed to 30 knots and steer to place the ship between the Iranian formation and the tanker. He simultaneously transmitted a warning on the International Maritime Emergency Frequency. Iranian naval vessels, this is USS Gravely, a United States Navy warship. You are approaching a civilian commercial vessel in international waters. Alter course immediately. This is your final warning. The warning was transmitted 3 times between 3:31 a.m. and 3:38 a.m. The Iranian formation did not respond. It did not alter course. It accelerated to 38 knots. At 3:41 a.m., the Gravely had positioned herself between the Iranian formation and the MV Celsius Stavanger. The tanker was now 2.1 nautical miles behind the Gravely. The Iranian formation was 3.4 nautical miles ahead. The Gravely had placed herself directly in the path. At 3:44 a.m., 3 of the 5 Peykaap fast attack craft broke from the formation and accelerated to maximum speed, 52 knots, on a direct intercept course with the Gravely. Not with the tanker, with the destroyer. The remaining 2 Peykaaps and the Hendijan held position at 3.4 nautical miles. The Hendijan began maneuvering to a flanking position, moving to the Gravely's port side. The geometry was clear. 3 boats charging from ahead, 1 armed patrol ship moving to flank, 2 boats held in reserve. This was not a harassment tactic. This was a structured attack formation. Here is the critical moment that most analyses of this engagement miss. The 3 Peykaap boats charging the Gravely made a tactical error that was identified in real time by the Gravely's weapons officer and immediately exploited. The 3 boats were running in a tight formation, roughly line abreast, with approximately 180 meter spacing between each vessel. They were running fast, and they were running close together. This was tactically coherent as a swarm attack against a smaller vessel, overwhelming a patrol boat's defenses with simultaneous attack vectors. Against a destroyer with a 5-inch naval gun and a trained gun crew, it was a different calculation entirely. A destroyer's Mark 45 gun in surface fire mode can track a fast-moving small craft and maintain a firing solution even through the target's evasive maneuvering. At the speed the 3 Peykaaps were running, they were predictable. Fast and straight means predictable. And at 180 meter spacing in line abreast, each target was within the gun's maximum target switching speed, the time it takes the mount to traverse from one target bearing to the adjacent one. The weapons officer identified this at 3:43:22 a.m. She briefed the CO in 15 words. 3 targets, line abreast, 180 meter spread. We can sequence them before they close. The CO authorized engagement at 3:43:31. At 3:44 a.m., the Gravely transmitted her final warning. It was not a formality. It was a legal requirement under the rules of engagement, a last clear chance for the attacking formation to break off before the engagement became kinetic. The boats did not break off. At 3:44:58 a.m., the first Iranian boat crossed inside 1.8 nautical miles, the CO's designated engagement threshold, given the boat's armament and closure speed. The Mark 45 fired at 3:45:01 a.m. The first round was aimed at the center boat of the 3, the boat with the clearest firing solution and the most predictable track. Range 1.76 nautical miles. The 32-kilogram projectile traveled that distance in approximately 2.4 seconds. The round struck the Peykaap directly. The after-action assessment described the result as immediate catastrophic destruction of the vessel. The boat's fuel supply, the Peykaap 2, uses a high-performance diesel fuel system that, when ignited by a direct hit from a naval gun round, produces an extremely rapid and total fire, created a fireball visible for miles. The boat was gone in under 4 seconds. The gun mount traversed left to the second target. At 3:45:06, 5 seconds after the first round, the Mark 45 fired again. The second Peykaap was struck at 1.6 nautical miles. The boat had attempted to turn hard starboard when the first vessel was destroyed, a reaction by the helmsman to the explosion on his right side. The turn changed the target's profile, but did not defeat the gun's fire control solution. The round struck the starboard quarter of the turning boat. The after-action assessment: catastrophic hull penetration and rapid sinking. The boat went under in under 90 seconds. The gun mount traversed right to the third target, the one that had been on the far right of the formation. At 3:45 and 12 seconds, 11 seconds after the first round, the Mark 45 fired a third time. The third Peykaap had not turned. Its helmsman, according to debriefed IRGCN personnel, some of whom survived and were recovered from the water, had frozen. The boat was still running straight at the Gravely at 52 knots. The round hit the bow at 1.3 nautical miles. The explosion was direct and total. 11 seconds, 3 rounds, 3 boats destroyed. The remaining 2 Peykaaps, the ones that had been held in reserve, immediately reversed course and ran north at maximum speed. The Hendijan held its flanking position for approximately 90 seconds. Then it too turned north. Its 40mm cannon, which had been elevated and pointed at the Gravely during the entire approach sequence, never fired. The engagement was over before the Hendijan's crew had processed what had just happened. The MV Celsius Stavanger, which had been informed of the developing threat by the Gravely's bridge team at 3:38 a.m., had altered course to put maximum distance between herself and the engagement. Her captain on the bridge with his first officer had watched the entire sequence through binoculars. He later described the 3 explosions as nearly simultaneous. 1, 2, 3, like knocking things off a shelf. His testimony was included in the 5th Fleet after-action report. Now the Gravely had a different problem. The 3 destroyed boats had crews. The Peykaap 2 is typically crewed by 4 to 6 personnel. 3 boats meant 12 to 18 Iranian sailors in the water at approximately 4 a.m. in the Persian Gulf, in the dark, in waters where the nearest search and rescue capability was the IRGCN vessels that had just turned and run. The CO of the Gravely faced a decision that the ROE does not fully script. The IRGCN vessels had retreated. The threat was neutralized. The tanker was safe. But there were Iranian military personnel in the water within 2 nautical miles of his ship. Under international law of the sea, the obligation to render assistance to persons in distress at sea applies regardless of nationality, regardless of whether those persons were, moments before, attempting to attack your vessel. The CO ordered the ship to launch her rigid-hull inflatable boat, the RHIB, with an armed boat crew at 3:58 a.m. The RHIB recovered 7 Iranian sailors from the water over the next 34 minutes. Their conditions ranged from minor injuries to serious burns from the fuel fires. The Gravely's medical officer and 2 corpsmen treated the survivors aboard the destroyer. 7 survivors, 12 to 18 crew across 3 boats. The mathematics of what that implies about the other men do not need to be stated explicitly. The 2 surviving Peykaaps and the Hendijan did not return to assist in the recovery. They were tracked on radar as they re-entered Abu Musa's harbor at 4:11 a.m. The IRGCN made no rescue attempt for their own personnel. The 7 Iranian sailors recovered by the Gravely were transferred to a 5th Fleet vessel at 6:30 a.m. and subsequently returned to Iranian custody through a third-party channel within 72 hours. Iran did not acknowledge the transfer publicly. The intelligence assessment that followed the engagement produced a significant finding. The operation by the 6 Iranian vessels had not been an improvised harassment mission. Signals intelligence analysis revealed pre-operation communications between Abu Musa Island and the IRGCN Naval District Command at Bandar Abbas. The operation had been sanctioned at least 48 hours in advance. The objective, based on reconstructed communications, was not to attack the Gravely. It was to board the MV Celsius Stavanger, a chemical tanker, and use its cargo as a leverage point in ongoing negotiations over Iranian oil sanctions. The 3 Peykaps that charged the Gravely were apparently intended as a distraction force, to occupy the destroyer while the Hendijan and the remaining 2 Peykaps moved around to the tanker. The plan had not accounted for the Gravely's CO positioning his ship directly between the formation and the tanker before the attack phase began. When the 3 distraction boats accelerated toward the destroyer, they crossed the engagement threshold before the rest of the formation was in position. The Gravely's weapons officer's assessment, 3 boats in line abreast, sequenceable targets, had dismantled the entire Iranian operational plan in 11 seconds. The IRGCN commander, who had authorized the operation, was relieved of his command within 30 days, according to intelligence assessments developed from signals intercepts. His replacement immediately issued revised guidance to IRGCN naval units in the Abu Musa operating area, revised guidance that, based on subsequent observed IRGCN behavior, included explicit instructions to maintain greater distance from U.S. Navy destroyers during interdiction operations. The MV Celsius Stavanger completed her transit. Her crew of 24 docked at their destination 4 days later. The captain sent a letter to the commanding officer of the USS Gravely. It was 2 paragraphs. The second paragraph ended with the words, "We did not see what you saw coming. We only saw that you were between us and it. Thank you." That letter was posted in the Gravely's wardroom. The operational aftermath extended beyond the Persian Gulf. The U.S. Navy's surface warfare community reviewed the Gravely engagement extensively for what it revealed about IRGCN combined arms tactics, specifically the use of a structured distraction force paired with a flanking armed patrol vessel. This was a more sophisticated formation than the standard harassment swarm previously documented. It suggested that the IRGCN was deliberately training its fast boat crews in coordinated multi-element attack doctrine against surface combatants. Naval War College exercise planners incorporated the Gravely engagement scenario into the next fleet battle experiment cycle. The 11-second 3-target sequence was used as a case study in both what went right, weapons officer tactical awareness, pre-positioning of the ship, disciplined engagement sequencing, and what had been close to going wrong. If the Hendijan had opened fire with its anti-ship missiles during the 11-second gun engagement, the Gravely's crew would have been managing a simultaneous surface attack while executing the gun sequence. The phalanx would have engaged. The SM-2 would have been cued. But 11 seconds is 11 seconds. Events can intersect in those 11 seconds in ways that change outcomes permanently. The Hendijan's captain chose not to fire. His reasoning was never confirmed by direct intelligence. Theory 1, he was waiting for the distraction force to succeed before making his own move, and the distraction force was gone before he had processed the change in situation. Theory 2, he recognized that opening fire on a U.S. Navy destroyer with anti-ship missiles was a strategic escalation his operational order had not authorized. Theory 3, he saw 3 boats turned into fireballs in 11 seconds and made a personal assessment about the cost of engaging. Any of those 3 theories, or any combination, could be true. The result was the same. He turned north and ran. 4 sailors aboard the Gravely had been on the weather deck during the engagement, 2 manning the .50 caliber gun positions, 2 serving as lookouts. All four had watched the entire gun sequence from open positions. None had been endangered during the engagement itself, as the Iranian boats never fired. But they had watched 3 vessels and their crews destroyed in 11 seconds from less than 2 nautical miles. The ship's chaplain spent considerable time with all four in the days that followed. The Navy's after-action reporting process formally noted this under personnel psychological impact. It was not classified information. It was a fact of what naval surface combat does to the people who execute it successfully. The CO of the USS Gravely, who had made the engagement decision, authorized the weapons-free call, and then ordered the rescue of the Iranian survivors, received the Legion of Merit for his actions during the engagement. The citation described his decisions as demonstrating tactical excellence, decisive leadership, and unwavering commitment to the protection of civilian life under direct threat. The weapons officer received the Bronze Star with Combat Distinguishing Device. Her citation noted specifically the identification and exploitation of a critical tactical geometry that prevented a prolonged engagement and neutralized the hostile threat with minimum ordnance expenditure. 3 rounds, 3 targets, 11 seconds. That is what a trained crew and a 5-inch naval gun can accomplish in the Persian Gulf when the tactical picture is clear and the decision is made without hesitation. The IRGCN lost 3 boats and a significant number of its personnel to a single gun mount firing 3 times. The tanker was saved. The crew was recovered. The 7th Iranian survivor, the last one pulled from the water at 4:32 a.m., was treated for burns and hypothermia and eventually returned home. He was 22 years old. Global Warfare TV documents the engagements that determine the rules of the Persian Gulf. Subscribe for the tactical depth. Hit the notification bell. And tell us in the comments, after 11 seconds and 3 kills, do you send your RHIB into the water to recover enemy survivors? Because the CO of the Gravely did. And that decision said as much about the U.S. Navy as the 11 seconds that preceded it. Stay vigilant, stay informed. I'll see you in the next one.